How we doing, Silk?
Doing good.
Nice. Silk, we're here. Beautiful Austrian countryside. We got Kevin Backstrom. How we doing, Kevin?
Good, man. How are you?
What's up?
So good to see you.
Good to see you, dude.
Where are we? What are we
We're
doing?
at the Mothership, man. Austria, welcome. So happy to have you guys here. KB, so sick having you here, dude.
Stoked to be here, man.
Awesome.
We're excited to see how snowboards get made, the best snowboards in the world.
Let's go.
Yeah. They got key fobs. This is high tech. It's like SpaceX. Welcome.
The Mothership.
So you guys are founded in Seattle, correct?
Yes, founded in Seattle, based here in Austria now.
Yeah, why did we end up in Austria?
Well, most snowboarding companies are essentially design and marketing based entities, and they go to another factory to get their products built. And that's the way CAPiTA was in the early days. And then you fast forward 25 years to now, both CAPiTA and Union have pretty robust infrastructures. So both companies own land, own buildings, own factories, machines, industry first, proprietary technologies, patents, that kind of thing. So we set up here in Austria for a couple of reasons. What you'll see today is this process is really a combination of handcrafted craftsmanship along with a lot of technology. And in this region, we have a multi-generational workforce that's built some of the best skis and snowboards in the world for over 100 years.
So I know how to build them out here.
They know how to build them, yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, should we see what else we got going on here?
Yeah, let's check it.
Love the key fob. Big fan of the key fob.
What you want?
Maybe a few.
I'll just do a double espresso. God damn it.
Coffee machine, taking a piss over there.
We're gonna do a tour. We're gonna see how the sausage is made. We're gonna check out how snowboards are created. But before we do, I wanna know who's behind this operation? Who are the owners?
Great question. So CAPiTA has been independently owned and operated, rider-driven for over 20 years. CAPiTA Snowboards and Union Binding Company are technically owned by a company called Core. And in Core, there's 8 partners and shareholders. I'm one of them. All of us have an employee role in addition to our shareholder or partner role. So we're all really engaged and we're all lifers in the snowboarding biz. And it's pretty easy to break down. So you have Bruce Bannister and Bob Gundrum, who run C3, which is our North American distribution for CAPiTA and Union. And then we got your homie, fellow masshole,
Johan, that's my guy.
Johan Malkowski.
That's gotta be a nightmare, but you can continue.
So he runs North American sales and contributes a lot to our product development, actually. And then George Kleckner, he does brand curation for Union and also does a lot for product. And then we have Claudia Fumagalli, and she's our CFO for Core. And then Martino Fumagalli, and he's the CEO of Union Bindings, the CEO of Core, and the leader of the group. So when you really break it down, it's like, it's a pretty big operation now, but it's really run like a family company. I mean, it's a group of families, but really it's like a bunch of friends that share a common vision, and we've been working towards this common goal for over 2 decades now. I think for like snowboarders, one of the reasons why this is important is that our ownership model, it kind of clarifies, who we serve. So on a daily basis, I'm not here making decisions trying to placate the financial expectations of anonymous shareholders. And a lot of companies do that, but that's not our deal. Like, we make decisions on a daily basis on what's good for snowboarding and what's best for snowboarders. So, on a daily basis, if it costs a little more, if it takes a little longer, we can do those type of things, and we don't have to justify that to anybody.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just to be super clear, like there's brands out there that are owned by big conglomerates or owned by shareholders, like you said, and some of these ownership groups really only care about the bottom line. And so if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like this group is owned by snowboarders that give a shit about snowboarding, so you guys can make the choices that are right for snowboarding.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, and you can see that in a lot of the investments we've made over the years. I mean, sometimes you make decisions because you need to, and sometimes you make decisions because you want to or because it's the right thing to do. And you can see that in our group's history of decision making, especially with product quality and sustainability, we've invested a tremendous amount of time, energy, resources, money, and providing a platform that we can not only build the best snowboards in the world, but do so in a way that's considerate to our staff, our workers, our partners, the environment as a whole, and snowboarding at large.
Cool. Should we go see how the sausage is made?
Let's go.
No chairs were harmed in the making of this one.
Okay, guys, come on in. So this is the main hallway and entrance to the mothership. There's a lot of artifacts on this wall that reminds us of CAPiTA history, and the very first thing you see is the first snowboard that we ever made. So some people may not realize that when we founded the company, Kevin Jones was a part of it, and the first snowboard we ever made was the Kevin Jones Black Snowboard of Death. And due to other circumstances, he ended up leaving the company before we really got it off the ground to pursue another interest with Genius. And it was too late for us to change the board. And so all we did is took his name off it and continued calling it the CAPiTA Black Snowboard of Death. And now that's the only series that's existed in our company all 25 years. So this snowboard is really important to our company's history. Only 3 exist, and I don't know where the other 2 are. And so that one's super important. And then when we go down the history, the first 3 years of the company were produced in British Columbia at a factory called Hard 8. And then we came to Austria in 2003. And this early era was like, Jason Brown and Corey Smith and TJ Schneider, then Tyler Lepore, Seth Hewitt. And then we get into this era, Travis Parker came on board, and this is one of the most iconic boards in CAPiTA history. It's the Unorthodox, Travis Parker's first ever double swallowtail freestyle snowboard. And he has like the caution tape of where you're not allowed to grab by societal norms of snowboard culture.
Iconic.
Pretty sick.
You switched from slider to inserts.
Correct. Yeah, the first 5 years of the company, we had what was called the Freedom Groove system. So it's like a slider-based mounting system. And it's incredible and worked really well. But at that time, our company just didn't have the marketing power to communicate to the customer like why it was great or how to use it. That was just an uphill battle for us at the time. And people were just like, give us inserts.
Yep.
And so when we moved to Austria, we did that transition to inserts. And then in the one thing that's happened throughout the history of the company is a lot of our athletes have also been artists and contributed to snowboard graphics. So you see early on Tyler Lepore art, TJ Schneider had the Midlife series, Corey Smith had the Stairmaster series. This was really the snowboard that elevated CAPiTA as a brand. At one point, this was our #1 selling snowboard and represented like 70% of our sales and really put us on the map.
The Stairmaster.
The Stairmaster, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like
Cool.
2007-ish.
Yeah.
First Horoscope, first Ultra Fear, very successful. The Party Shark. Charlie Slasher has been like a fan favorite of CAPiTA over the years. And then you get into 2010, 11-ish. That's when Scott Stevens joined us. This is Sleepy Stevens, Scott's very first pro model. And around this time, we filmed our second movie, which was like our first big one. It was called Defenders of Awesome. So we made a movie in 2007 called First Kiss. And if you haven't watched it, have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have
Dude, you gotta see it.
started here.
You started DOA, okay, cool. But yeah, DOA really elevated the company, and then in this era, that's when the Defenders of Awesome snowboard came out, the same year as the Defenders of Awesome movie, and that snowboard has been the #1 seller in the history of our company, and also one of the best-selling snowboards in the history of the snowboard industry. So it's been a great foundation for our company. Then you get here, you get Just Kimura, Kazuhiro Kokobo, our second movie in 2014, Stay Badass, was like a big one for the brand.
Yep.
And then, yeah, you kind of evolve into the modern day CAPiTA team that involves both of you and Arthur Longo and just, incredible group of people that I'm really, really proud of. So thank you guys so much.
What's going on with this sign right here? You got Everything's Possible on the wall. pretty inspirational.
When I give you guys this tour, it's kind of hard to even comprehend that like this exists. You know, I think back when we founded the company, I was 26 years old, founded it out of a bedroom in my house in West Seattle, paying my friends and pizza and beer. So the fact that we're here at all is pretty fucking crazy. But it's a testament to like dreaming big, truly believing that things that seem outside your reach are possible. Like everything's possible if you set your sights high and then do what it takes to follow through and really try to get there. And so this is a company mantra that we have on the wall. And then we have a lot of pride in this. You know, beyond this wall, the best snowboards in the world are made. And we believe that, and people that come to work here believe that on an in and out every single day basis.
Blue, where are we going right now?
So right now we're going to go to the warehouse and look at the raw materials.
How many people work here?
About 120 work here.
How many people touch the snowboard?
I love that question, and here's why. This is a handcrafted snowboard factory with a tremendous amount of technology. And that seems contradictory, but really both things can be true in the same space. We have a lot of technology, we have a lot of automation, we have a lot of proprietary methods, but to make one snowboard, if you talk about a human touch, it gets touched over 100 times from beginning to end. And so despite all the technology of the processes, it is handcrafted when each snowboard gets touched 100 times from beginning to end.
Little man and machine combo.
It's a man and machine.
It's man and machine. Silk, you see how much stuff we got in here? Blue, what's going on in here? What do we
Guys,
got?
this is where I want to start the tour because this is where all the raw materials come in. Everything that we need to build snowboards is in this room. And there's a lot of it. Over the course of the year, the mothership produces 100,000 snowboards. So that's a lot of edges, cores, base materials, fiberglass, everything that comes in. So you can imagine with that scale, there's a significant footprint just to get the raw materials here. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on, and one of the reasons we're here, is that over 90% of our raw material sourcing is within an 8-hour drive of the mothership. So all of our supply chain is localized, and that really makes things more efficient for us.
So we're in a bit of a honey hole when it comes to making snowboards.
We are. So you can see here, these are sidewalls, different colors and shapes. These are all pre-milled for a specific board. Here we have wood cores that are all different combinations of wood that will go in various models. This is pretty cool to see. This is like a PET high-end core. So this is basically repurposed plastic bottles from the ocean that get ground up into an ultralight material and then sandwiched with our wood to make some high-end wood cores. And then, you know, there's a lot in here. And so we have different grades, different colors, different densities that have different price points. There can be like carbon infused black high-end race base, and then all the way down to like your base, which is like your extruded, don't have to wax it, easy to, you just don't mess with it. You know?
Set it and forget it base. Can you see how tall the freaking ceilings are? How much stuff's in here? It's pretty crazy.
So cool. So now you got an idea of like the amount of materials. Let's go into the printing room and then I'll show you guys like the process of making graphics.
As you know, Blue, I'm a big graphics guy. I love a good graphic. CAPiTA's always had great graphics.
You're an artist, Chris.
I'm actually an artist, world class.
I saw that bomb hole art you did. It looks like you did it on a napkin and Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes, exactly. Classically trained. So walk us through how these graphics get done.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you're right. CAPiTA's been known for graphics and our art for a long time. Our creative director, Ephraim's been with us the whole entire time of the company, 25 years. And one of the things that makes the mothership unique is a lot of snowboard factories in the world outsource the graphics. So they do the art and all the top sheets get printed elsewhere. And then there's some limitation with that of like the process and how you make the art. And so at the mothership, we do all of our graphics in-house, everything from building the screens to manual silk screening, which is a traditional method, digital silk screening. We have multiple sublimation bays. We have multiple digital printers. I think the goal is that, art is subjective and you look at a snowboard graphic and, either you like it or you don't. But there's no question that in the store, the CAPiTA board's finish, quality, and shelf appeal is at a completely another level because we have all these resources that a lot of other people don't have.
Amazing.
So let's go through the process in here.
Hang on real quick.
Oh yeah.
That's a good graphic. It's my guy.
So this is a digital printing room and we have printers for sublimation. I'd like to introduce you to Philip. He's the director of our occult arts. He works very closely with Ephraim when Ephraim brings the graphics in-house. Philip's role is bringing the art to life in the snowboard.
We have here two modern direct digital printers. We're printing with 6 colors plus white. So with this technique we're able to print double layers. So we could print from the bottom side the graphics and on top side. This gives us a 3D optic, a special 3D optic. We want to show you now, we will print the bump hole graphics on the special DDT printer. Let's take a look.
All right, what we have here is a magical moment, Silk. We're gonna print the bomb hole graphic that I did. All right, here we go, Silk. This is coming to life. There's gadgets moving. There are things happening. I don't really know what's happening. Oh wow, this is how the graphics are printed. Look at this. It's basically a giant typewriter. Now be honest, is this the most beautiful board graphic you've ever seen, yes or no?
Yes.
You've seen a lot of amazing graphics come through this warehouse, Phil. Which ones are your favorites over the years?
Oh, there was so many graphics. In the last 10 years, every year the graphics are better and better. So I can't say they're all beautiful. For me, it's every year, it's awesome to see from the idea to the end of the board how it grows up.
Cool, that's awesome to see. This is a beautiful site, Philip. Beautiful site. Wow. It's a masterpiece. Blue, best graphic ever come through this factory or what? All-time best. I know, I couldn't agree more. Bar was here. We're up here now. All right, am I gonna sign this bad boy? You want me to just write my name?
Let's go to the screen department. We have here 2 big screen printers and the ladies are printing now base graphic and top sheet graphic. She's printing now the white flood on the bottom side to make the graphic opaque. You see here first, it's direct digital printed with a flood of silver to get the metallic effect. And now she's printing a white layer. And here we have the base graphic, direct digital printed, and she is printing now the white layer on these printers. Here we have the UV printer to make the last layer where we protect the top sheets for this sunlight.
Yeah, we were talking a little off camera and you were mentioning how the way it's printed, the boards last much longer and the ink doesn't bleed out, right?
Yeah, we are the only company that prints the base with DDT technique.
Yep.
So the colors are very strong, and with sublimation, it's not it's bleeding out. With our technique, it stays clear. So after 1, 2, 3 years, if you take a look on the base, you see how straight the lines are, how clear they are. That's possible with our technique.
All right, Blue, one thing I noticed, every snowboard here has that made with clean energy green sticker on it. And I know you guys pride yourself on making boards with sustainable energy. I'd love for you to just explain to someone on a first grade level like myself that doesn't understand how all this stuff works, how that all works.
Well, this is the world's first 100% clean energy snowboard production facility. So on a basic level, it means that we use best efforts to produce snowboards in a responsible way, in a sustainable way to the best of our ability. So in terms of the energy draw, the building itself requires less energy than typical factories. The temperature that we use for our presses requires less energy than typical snowboard presses. And then we have an on-site hydropower station where the thermal energy from the water is what heats and cools the building and heats and cools the snowboarding presses. So all of that energy required to heat and cool the presses comes from an on-site hydro system. There's a basic amount of energy that needs to come from somewhere else. And for that, we have solar grids on the roof. And then we have hydropower that comes from our local village, has like gravity fed hydropower on site. So that's a lot of explaining, but basically all of our energy is clean. It comes from hydropower. Some of it's generated on site, and we require less energy to make the snowboards than the industry standard.
Yeah, it's incredible too. And Greg showed me the plumbing that you guys got. You guys got a giant room with like all types of crazy engineered plumbing, and there's pipes going all through the warehouse. So it's a pretty serious endeavor what you guys did. I was blown away by it.
Yeah, it's serious, and it's like pretty crazy when you think about the water that comes in from the river is never actually touched. We're not using the water, we're using the temperature of the water. The thermal energy of the water activates the NH3 system, which creates the energy to heat and cool the building. So it gets pretty complex when you dive into it, but it's awesome, and it's really, really cool, and it's very unique in the snowboard space to have a facility that's run like that.
What are we doing now?
Okay guys, here's the thing about the mothership. It's not this static thing. We opened the building in 2015, and it's not the same as it was in 2015. Every single year we invest between 1 and 2 million euros on new technologies and new machinery. So we're gonna go into the wood core milling room. All of the wood cores, which is essentially the heart of the snowboard, is pressed here in this room, and we're gonna check out how that works. Guys, so I wanna introduce you to Miha, and he's gonna explain how this room works.
Welcome to our CNC department. We have a lot of new stuff going on this year. Our CNC department is basically getting the biggest investment since we built CAPiTA Manufacturing. Basically a way to make a final wood core from a wooden plank. And I'm gonna lead you through the process of how we do it. So we start off a plank like this, where we define how it should look like, which types of wood should be included, and then the whole milling, bending, insats process takes place in this room. First step is milling, which you see here. It's a combination of 3 brand new machines. We just invested in a 5-axis, 2-bed, 3-spindle milling machine, which is basically one of a kind. And we connected it with a special loader system to make sure our products are perfectly centered, in perfect quality. We even have features for checking quality within this system. The system as a whole is really one of a kind. What we need to do on each core is we mill the outline, and of course with the new 5-axis milling capability we are able to do some quite complicated features that not everybody in the industry can do. This is a good example. We do mill the outline, we do mill the chamfer for the edges, and we do prepare our wood cores for the insats. A bigger part of the new investment is also this perfect centering, which means that our inserts are really perfectly centered on the wooden lamellas where they should be. So the loader is unloading the finished cores right now. It already has measured them and is making sure that the cores are in tolerances. We also do print a unique code on them, so we can better track our quality on each single unit. After the boards are placed down, we're gonna get to the input pallet, and we're gonna center and load the new cores, and then the machine will start automatically. So after this stage, the cores are taken off, they go through another quality check, and after this quality check, we grind the profile on it, which means we profile the surface from the tip to the tail, and I'm just gonna show you a quick example. So this machine will make the thickness profile of each and of each single core so that it perfectly fits the flex requirements of each board. After this, the board is still flat, so it needs to undergo another bending process, which takes place over there in our heat presses. After the pressing, we only need to add inserts and some reinforcement, and the core is ready to be pressed in a final product, in a snowboard.
All right, so a lot of snowboarders have bases with a die cut base, and it makes this like really prominent graphic, but people don't really know how it's made. And it's made in two parts. It starts with this machine, which is an ultrasonic die cut machine. Mia, can you talk a little bit about what this machine does?
So this machine can cut basically any shape we want. We can program it like any other CNC machine, and the very sharp knife would cut the shape into our base. But we also use that machine to cut the outline of each base that needs to fit perfectly into the mold so that the edges are perfectly sealed with the base. And we also use this machine, for example, for ABS parts that would go in the tip or the tail of the snowboard to seal it from coming in contact with snow or moisture. There's a nice example here of a die cut base. Also, this is basically a cool graphic feature which is made only with this machine. The secret is in taking two different colors of material, cutting a shape out of it, and then it's basically just put together like a puzzle piece.
Okay guys, so here's the deal with die cut bases. People don't understand how labor intensive this thing is. It's like putting together a puzzle piece over and over and over again. So this is the black snowboard of death, and this is actually on the simpler side of the production. But after the ultrasonic die cut, you have this piece that's gonna go here. So we got a red base. Kevin, you wanna grab the black skull?
Put in here.
Yep. But now you gotta pop out every single one of these pieces by hand.
Kevin wouldn't be a good worker here. Not that efficient. All right.
So now Kevin just pops out all these little pieces, and he has to do it without losing these pieces. Then he has to do the exact same thing on the red one so he can find these little red pieces.
Wow. Beautiful.
So now you got to do that like thousands of times over and over and over and over. So when you're in the shop, if you're a snowboarder, you go in the shop and you see a die cut base, you're like, damn, that looks sick. Now you understand a little bit about how much manual labor and time goes into making these things, you know?
All right, Blue, what's next? Where we going?
Guys, I want to make a very special introduction. Greg Gisler. He is our Chief Operations Specialist here at the Mothership. Technically CEO, COO, right? How you doing, Greg?
Good.
You doing good?
Good.
Greg's going to talk to us about the heart and soul of a snowboard production facility where we actually press the snowboards.
We've seen the tops and the bases being made. We've seen the parts coming together. This room here is called assembly. So this is where we actually get to build the board and see the people building the board. So let's go in, see who's building the boards right now, and I'll explain a bit more about how it all works. Mirnessa here is assembling a new board for us. And she'll also build Kazu, she'll also build Paradise. She'll go back and forth between multiple presses because she's very experienced and she knows how to build every one of these boards, keeps it all here. And it's from years and years of experience. Part of this room is the technology. We have the river water system that's bringing the heating and cooling of every snowboard. And our resin system is centrally controlled by a computer. So when she's building this model, it'll give her only the proper number of grams per layer. And if she's building a Kazu 160, it gives her more resin. If she's building a DOA 154, it'll give her less grams per layer because the board's designed that way. Another thing here in CAPiTA is that we use RFID technology. So this chip goes into every board. And then that way we know on which day, on which time, by which press, at which temperature the board was made. And so with this chip, we can follow the board through the entire factory and guarantee the best quality that we can build.
Is there stuff in here that's secret?
So this process here is called PLT process. It's exclusive to CAPiTA. It's the only factory in the world that has this machine and this technology. What Sarah's doing right here is cleaning and preparing the board. This is an aeronaut built without the top sheet. And then on this machine, it will take the boards in from this side, it'll bring the tops in from the second side, and we actually glue the top sheet to the board with an environmentally friendly, solvent-free hot melt adhesive, right? So you can smell, or you can smell nothing in this room because it's clean and it uses hot melt glue technology.
Love it. The white glove treatment.
Okay.
Squeeze harder, squeeze harder. Yeah, keep pinching it, pinch it. Pinch it in the middle, pinch it in the middle. Like right directly in the middle. That one hit him hard. That one hit him hard. Wow. I'm back. Holy shit. I am so fucking back, guys. All right, so what's going on with this line of machines here, Greg?
Here at the Mothership, we have actually the best grinding line in the world again. We have 11 machines that are all controlled by a central computer. So when we start with Mercury 57, which Kevin likes to ride, it'll set all the machines for a Mercury 57. The tip, the tail shape, the length, the camber, the width of every one of these boards is different. So we have a program written for every board. So as we're moving down that line of 11 machines, we do side sanding, we do base sanding, we do steel polishing. So every board goes through the line 2 times. And the reason we do that is many of our boards have the PLT technology, and we also want to have a premium finish. So our high-end boards that go to stone grinding actually come back and go through the main line a second time because we want to polish the steel and polish the base one more time for a premium finish.
What does this mean for Tampu?
So when we print the graphic on the sidewall, it's actually done by a machine that's called a tempo print machine.
Okay.
So it's ready for sidewall printing.
Ready for Tampa.
Ready for tempo.
All right, Greg, what is this fancy machine we got behind us here?
This machine is our insert driller. What we actually do is directly from sidewall printing, we bring the board in, we warm it up, and then we use a thermal camera. And the camera can actually see the inserts inside the board. It's almost like an X-ray, but it's using thermal camera. And that way we drill every board perfectly, one by one. A lot of factories you see, they take a piece of chalk and they rub it on the board until they can kind of see where the inserts are, and then they drill it by hand, one by one by one. Here, we're fully automated, it's premium.
So Greg, I ride CAPiTAs. They're fast. They're fast snowboards. They're known for being fast. Why are the bases so fast?
We have this dual stone grinder that for every sintered board here at CAPiTA, we go through 6 stone grind passes, including a patterned stone grind on the most premium boards. This makes the boards super fast.
So that's why you're not gonna knuckle on the big jump if you got a fast base.
Fast pace.
That's what we want. Kevin knows about that.
Okay, so this is the final QC and cleaning step.
Yeah.
She'll take the board, review it for all of our quality specifications, and make sure the board is, again, clean, fine, fit, and finish for this next snowboarder who's gonna buy this. With the RFID chip, it brings her up all the information that this is a DOA wide 157, and it shows her everything about the board, how it should look, top, base, finish. So she's doing a full inspection of the board, and then she'll put the sticker and it goes on to shrink wrap in the warehouse.
Okay guys, I want to do a little exercise for you. By the way, we're trying to keep things undercover for next year, but this is a sneak peek, Fall 25, Space Metal Fantasy. So this has been pulled aside on the finishing line, and I want to see if you guys can find the blemish in the snowboard. Okay, so I know where it is only because I saw the notes from our finishing crew, and the level of their expectation, the standard is extremely high. So this is not a deemed first quality or second quality. This would never be allowed to go in commerce. This is pulled aside and designated as scrap. So I'll show you what it is. There's right here an extremely small blemish on the top sheet. Right
Still
there.
don't see it. Still don't see it. Maybe I see something, but
Right there.
very minute.
So that's it.
That's insane.
You know, so we just set the bar high, you know?
You know, that's amazing, because then we get these snowboards, we go to a handrail, and then we immediately ride them down concrete stairs. So it's so perfect.
Oh, and you take a freaking file to your edge too.
Yes, I love to hear you talk about, I know that you love when people get a brand new board and detune the edges.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
You do that? You detune?
If it's rail board, yeah, not my park board, but
Well,
yeah.
let me talk to a real snowboarder that actually turns a snowboard. do you keep your edges on your
I
snowboard?
just ride it out the box.
Out of the box,
Out of the
yes,
box.
my
Yeah.
dog. See, that's how it's supposed to be done.
But I don't hit
It's supposed to be
the, I
done.
don't hit the steel.
What's the problem? What's the problem with detune?
The problem with detuning is your snowboard is supposed to be symmetrical. And in this room right here, we have about 7 million reasons why your snowboard is gonna be perfectly symmetrical. And when you put it on edge, it's gonna turn like a dime. And when you get out there with a file or a rock and start just raking on your board, I have a lot of faith in you, Chris, but I don't have so much faith that you're gonna detune all 4 edges evenly. So you're just immediately riding like some crazy ass asymmetrical weird custom deck. And that's not how they're supposed to ride.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're just going dead straight into a rail. Not turning anyway, so it works for everybody.
There is a reason why I ride my boards out of plastic. I mean, number one, they're engineered and designed to be that way. Two, I really love the feeling of carving a snowboard, but I have to try to mimic the experience of most end consumers. And most end consumers don't know how to properly tune their board or detune their board. They just take the board out of the plastic and go ride it. So we focus a lot about like, what's the out of the plastic experience? If you just love snowboarding, you're not a pro snowboarder, and you go spend all your money on a snowboard, then you take it out of the plastic and you go to the hill, that first run should be great. It should be magic. You shouldn't have to buy a snowboard for 500 bucks and then fuck with it. It does not make any sense. Just take it out of the plastic, go ride it, have a great time, and be stoked.
Okay, so this room is our full testing lab where we can check, verify all new materials. Anything that's to become a snowboard material, we probably do a minimum of 2 years of testing to see if a new material, a new ink, a new steel, something could be used. And although we have all the testing machines and possibilities here, testing's not good at 25C. You need to go in -10 and do your testing inside this room.
Holy shit. Dude, I've been locked in here since last season.
So inside the -10
It's cold in
freezer
here.
room that we have here,
Freezing.
we have machines for testing the slab, drop testing, impact testing, and this one actually here is set up to go, every board will go through a minimum of 10,000 cycles. With this machine, we can test a tip or tail impact. So we actually can raise the board up and drop it and impact and do damage to the tip and the tail. This machine will strike the board from the side. We can test the steel edges or the sidewalls for impact. And then the last machine over there is we just call the slap machine. And so how to simulate the slap machine without really running it. Please hold the mic.
Yeah.
If I take this board again in the freezer, not. Holy shit!
Wow. My ears. Jesus.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Just didn't. The audio on that thing just went.
Dude, you just broke the mic. The mic is broken. That snap, that sound.
Sonic boom, dude.
Okay guys, now we're at the end of the tour. We're in the finished warehouse. This is where all the boards get boxed, moved in here and get ready to be sent around the world. And so I kind of trip out coming down these hallways because you can see all the finished boards stacked along the line. And then if you look up, these are all boxes that are with complete finished boards. So a whole section of these will go to Japan, and a whole section of these will go to Sweden, and a whole section of these will go to the United States, and a whole section will go to Canada. And we're just waiting for the distributor dates so for when they want to receive them. But on our end, all the boards are pressed, all the boards are made, all the boards are palleted, and there's, you know, probably, you know, 30,000 snowboards in here right this second that are ready to be shipped. So all the boards on your right are fall 24 snowboards, and then over here we're already producing the boards that will be in stores fall 2025. So the entire fall 25 collection is already designed and in production and being made and getting ready to go throughout all sales campaigns.
Are you guys running the factory year round?
Yeah, constantly in motion, and we're either working on mainline, like in-season product, or we're working on special projects, or we're working on the following season samples, and then the cycle basically repeats itself. So stoked that you guys are here, and really stoked to show it to you. And Bombhole Nation, everybody watching at home, this is probably a long video. Thanks for sticking it out. Hope you learned something about snowboard production and clean energy today and the CAPiTA brand. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Later.